My 7-year-old niece called suddenly on the phone.
Run away now.
Bewildered, I listened as she added something even more surprising.
Don't go near your husband.
When I put my niece's mysterious phone call on speaker, I was leaning out on the balcony taking photos. Suddenly, I noticed my husband right next to me, wearing an eerie smile. Wait, why? And then, my body was pushed off the balcony, suspended in midair. I'm Charlotte, 28 years old. 3 years ago, I married David, who is the same age as me. About a year and a half ago, just when we were discussing having children, he had a traffic accident and became paralyzed from the waist down, leading to a wheelchair-bound life. Since his discharge from the hospital, he's been withdrawn, and our conversations as a couple have dwindled. Moreover, ever since I started working to support our household, I've felt like David is avoiding me somehow. Maybe he's being considerate of me, or perhaps it's because I'm busy. I've wondered. Despite my efforts to initiate conversations with him, he retreats to his room immediately. I've been pondering what to do, and perhaps due to my distraction, I slipped on wax dripped on the stairs, spraining my ankle. Then, while opening a shelf above the sink, a knife almost fell on me. This won't do. I need to be more careful. But the presence of unused wax on the stairs and a knife in an unlikely high place has been bothering me. Why would they be there? Since no one else enters our home, it's just David and me. However, David struggles even to stand up independently, and the sink area is too narrow for his wheelchair. Could it be that I'm doing things and forgetting? Despite my doubts, I've been feeling restless lately. One day, I went to my brother's house to deliver a congratulatory gift for my niece's enrollment. Although I invited my husband, he didn't want to come, so I went alone. It seemed like a good opportunity to discuss our situation with my brother. When I arrived at my brother's house and handed over the wrapped gift, my niece Emma suddenly said something unexpected.
Uncle David can walk now, right?
I replied. Wait, no, not yet. Emma looked puzzled and said.
Huh? That's strange. I dreamt of Uncle walking confidently.
My brother wore a stern expression as Emma blurted out this surprising statement without even saying thank me. However, I knew that my niece had an unusual ability. Many times, events she dreamt about actually happened. These occurrences ranged from sudden rain showers to unexpected visitors. Mostly trivial things, and my brother dismissed them as coincidences. Just as Emma was about to continue her dream story, my usually mild-mannered brother sternly interrupted her, saying,
Emma, stop it. Creating expectations only leads to disappointment.
Emma, desperate to convey something to me, fell silent under my brother's glare. Frowning and upset, she lowered her gaze. Thank you, Emma. It makes me happy to hear that David might be able to walk. Both my husband and I had hoped for this outcome. Emma's mysterious words provided a glimmer of hope for David's future, lightening my heart. Perhaps, someday, my husband really will walk. Believing that is the one thing I can do now. And maybe, if that happens, our relationship will naturally mend. After a long time, with a newfound sense of brightness, I returned home. Hey, Emma said she dreamt that you can walk. It must be a premonition, I said with enthusiasm. But my husband retorted sharply.
What? Don't believe kids' nonsense. Miracles like that don't happen.
Despite my cheerful tone, he shouted at me with incredible force. You're right. I'm sorry. Even though he grapples with his immobile legs every day, I thoughtlessly uttered baseless remarks. My shallowness left me deeply remorseful. I deserve to be scolded, I thought. Since that day, my husband has secluded himself in his room, refusing to share meals together. Even though we're under the same roof, I seem utterly alone. I made your favorite beef stew. Let's eat together, I offered. His response was cold.
Not interested.
Attempting to repair our relationship, I spoke through the door, but his words echoed harshly. The doorknob yielded no entry. The lock remained engaged from the inside. Please, open the door. I want to see your face and talk, I pleaded. His reply was firm.
Leave me be. I need to think alone.
So, I decided to observe for a while, avoiding any further strain on our relationship. A few days later, on my day off, I was cleaning when my husband unusually appeared in the living room. His expression was remarkably calm.
I'm sorry about the other day. I went too far.
It's okay, it was my fault, I replied. But more importantly, would you like something to eat? My husband requested sandwiches, a rare occurrence. Hearing those words after so long, I felt like jumping for joy. We sat face to face and enjoyed the homemade sandwiches. He happily polished off the entire plate, saying, "Delicious, delicious." I hope moments like this last forever. After the meal, my husband looked out the window and made a request.
Hey, could you take a photo of the sunset? From where I am, I can hardly see it. Maybe from the second-floor balcony?
Indeed, the building obstructed the view from our first-floor living room. Sure, I'll go out to the balcony, I replied. Armed with my camera, I took several photos and showed them to my husband downstairs. His disappointed expression was evident.
The building blocks the view. I want to see a perspective I don't normally get.
He explained. Is that so? I asked.
At this rate, the sunset will be gone. Wait. How about standing on a chair, leaning out from the balcony, and taking the photo?
That might work, I agreed. With the sole intention of pleasing my husband, I climbed onto a foldable chair on the balcony and leaned out, capturing what I hoped would be a beautiful shot. This should make for a great photo. At that moment, my cell phone in the apron pocket rang. It was a call from my brother. As I continued capturing the sinking sunset with my camera, I answered the phone in speaker mode. Suddenly, a loud, angry voice erupted.
Aunt Charlotte. Run away right now.
Huh? Emma, what's wrong?
Absolutely don't get close to your husband.
Her shouting echoed through the phone speaker. What's going on? As I puzzled over the situation, I heard a murmured voice saying, "Unnecessary interference." Huh? When I turned around, there was my husband, supposedly in a wheelchair on the first floor, standing firmly on his own 2 feet.
Your niece is remarkable.
His eerie grin sent shivers down my spine, and I felt a sense of dread. At that moment, my husband pushed me with tremendous force. My body was propelled off the balcony, suspended in midair without any means of resistance. Ah! The next instant, a loud thud and a powerful impact reverberated through my body, accompanied by intense pain. My consciousness wavered, and I couldn't even open my eyes. My husband repeatedly called out to me.
Charlotte, are you okay? Charlotte. Answer me.
but the shock left me unable to respond. As he leaned over me, I could sense him looking down. His words chilled me.
It worked perfectly. Rather than dying instantly, this way, the insurance payout will be substantial.
His sinister laughter echoed in my ears. What will happen to me? My consciousness faded in and out. Soon, the wailing sirens of an ambulance reached my ears.
If only I could walk, I could save her. If anything happens to my wife, I won't be able to go on. Please, just save her life.
My husband implored tearfully as the paramedics arrived. And then, I lost consciousness completely. How long has it been? I found myself lying on the hospital bed.
I'm glad you're okay.
My husband said tearfully as I lay on the hospital bed. Apparently, the rain yesterday had softened the ground in our yard, acting as a cushion when I fell, resulting in only a broken arm.
You'll need a few days of hospitalization due to the head injury. Rest well.
He added, gently stroking my head. What on earth is going on? But the events replayed in my mind, the horrifying voice of my husband, yet the man before me now seemed like a completely different person. Why did you push me off the balcony? I blurted out.
What are you talking about?
His eyes flickered momentarily.
You probably imagined it due to the shock from the injury. Don't dwell on strange thoughts, just rest.
He replied sadly. Then, he retrieved the camera I'd used to capture the sunset from his bag.
Leaning out from the balcony was dangerous. I don't know what you were photographing, but this camera's screen is shattered and unusable.
He tossed the broken camera into the trash bin in my hospital room. Yet it was my husband who had asked for the sunset photo. And now, his eyes seemed murky, concealing something darker. Afterward, my husband played the role of a concerned spouse, repeatedly thanking doctors and nurses for taking care of his injured wife, and then he left, leaving me behind. As I observed him calmly spinning his web of lies, my feelings turned icy, and all the love I once had seemed to vanish. Could it be that what Emma said was about this? I wondered, picturing my niece's worried expression and hearing her voice in my mind. Why didn't I take her words more seriously when she tried to help me with her mysterious abilities? The next day, as soon as I could sit up, I contacted my brother.
Charlotte, are you okay? Thank goodness.
He exclaimed. He had been worried after hearing my screams during our previous phone call. When I informed him about my broken arm and hospitalization, he promised to come right away. My brother arrived at the hospital with my niece in tow. Emma, her eyes filled with sadness, gently stroked my arm, which was encased in a cast. She revealed something surprising.
When we last met, I wanted to tell you, Aunt Charlotte, I kept having dreams of you falling from a high place.
It seems Emma was right, I replied. Emma had secretly used my brother's phone to call me after having the same dream again. My brother apologized, saying,
I should have listened more carefully to what Emma was saying.
He continued.
From the tone of your phone call, I pieced together most of the situation.
As he recounted what he had heard during our call, he revealed shocking facts I hadn't known. Determined, I thought, I'll expose all of that person's lies. And so, I made up my mind. 3 days later, I was discharged and returned home. As I entered the living room, my husband sat in his wheelchair.
Oh, you're already discharged? It would have been better if you had taken more time for treatment.
He was playing the role of a concerned spouse. His act made me nauseous. When I handed him the photo, his expression changed.
Why? The camera was supposed to be broken.
He stammered. But the picture was taken with the same camera I'd used to capture the sunset, a candid shot of him standing, about to attack me. The screen was shattered, but the SD card inside still had the photo data. I explained. This proves you can walk, and there's no denying it. He clicked his tongue and slowly rose from the wheelchair.
Fine, if I'm caught, so be it.
With an air of defiance, he began to confess everything. It appears that after the accident, my husband genuinely couldn't walk at first, but around 2 months later, he gradually regained the ability to walk. However, he continued pretending to be disabled because he believed it would yield higher compensation, insurance payouts, hospital fees, and the like. You've been deceiving me all along, my husband retorted.
They say to deceive your enemies, start with your allies. And besides, there's no better deal than this.
I've been genuinely worried about you, and I've done so much for you, I replied. He smirked, an unsettling grin on his face.
Well,
then he added,
if you'd stayed in the hospital longer, you could have earned even more. Traffic accidents are the best for payouts.
What? I was taken aback. He chuckled.
Next time, I'll push you into traffic on a busy street.
His laughter was disturbingly out of place. When did he become this person? It was hard to reconcile with the man he used to be. But dwelling on it now wouldn't change anything. Enjoy your laughter while you can. I'm reporting you to the police for pushing me, I declared.
Without evidence?
He challenged. What? I was incredulous. He leaned back in his wheelchair, feigning vulnerability.
That photo was probably doctored. I really can't walk.
Despite having just stood up, he resumed the wheelchair-bound act, attempting to evoke sympathy. I was utterly exasperated. Enough. There's more evidence. Another piece of evidence was an audio recording where my husband's voice could be heard saying,
It worked perfectly. The insurance payout will be substantial.
You didn't believe in Emma's mysterious abilities, but thanks to her, I obtained this evidence. That was the recording my brother made when he heard my scream after Emma called with a premonition dream. By the way, I'm also recording our current conversation on a voice recorder, I added. My husband retorted.
Hand it over to me.
My husband, who had always worn a faint smile, suddenly lunged at me, attempting to snatch them away. Call the police right away, I shouted, and my brother entered the living room. As it turns out, he had driven me home from the hospital. He had been secretly observing us the whole time.
What have you done to my sister?
My brother's clenched fist trembled with anger. Suddenly, my husband's demeanor changed dramatically, and he began apologizing profusely.
Please, don't involve the police.
He pleaded.
You're apologizing to the wrong person.
My brother retorted. My husband then took my hand, tears in his eyes. But I knew it was all an act.
Charlotte, forgive my mistakes.
Despite pushing me off the balcony and causing my broken arm, how could he ask for forgiveness? And to think he had secretly hoped I wouldn't regain consciousness. I'll never forget his words from that day. Why did you go to such lengths for money? You already received compensation and life insurance, didn't you? I asked.
Well,
my husband hesitated. Surprisingly, he had invested in stocks online to increase his gains, resulting in significant losses. He had even taken out loans, leaving me utterly exasperated.
Charlotte, I'm truly sorry. Will you forgive me?
Your actions are unforgivable, I replied. You need to fully grasp the weight of your guilt. Seemingly desperate, my husband bolted toward the front door, attempting to escape. But the police arrived just in time, apprehending him immediately. Watching this unfold, Emma murmured with wide-eyed surprise.
Uncle David, so you really could walk?
Enough. It's your fault.
My husband snapped at our innocent niece. Emma calmly responded.
You know, I dreamt that Uncle was wearing striped clothes and sitting in a dark room, holding his knees.
Emma's prophetic dreams are real, I affirmed.
Ugh. This is the worst.
He shouted. My husband's miserable departure in the police car hinted at a grim future. Afterward, my husband and I divorced through legal channels. He had caused my injury, and I sought compensation. His deception for financial gain ultimately caught up with him, just as my niece had predicted. Furthermore, all the ill-gotten money will be reclaimed, and after serving his sentence, he is obligated to repay the full amount. I hope he lives with remorse for deceiving others from now on. I returned to work about a month and a half later, my broken arm healed. Occasionally, I share meals with my niece, who still dreams of the future. According to Emma, I'll meet a wonderful man and walk through life with him. I choose to believe in that bright future.
How did you find this story? If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to our channel. Until next time.